even though I was scared, I also felt some kind of comfort in being enterprising and taking a chance that I could make my own dreams come true. There is a door that you must open. And once you unlock this door and you open it, you can never unknow what you know. It's called the window of opportunity. It doesn't necessarily close because it opens all the time, but you got to jump through it.
Dream Drivers, have y'all seen the trailer for The Woman King yet? I am just so excited to see my girl Viola Davis starring as an African general in this epic story inspired by true events of the first ever army of women warriors in a fight to save their kingdom. It tells the story of the Goje, an all-female unit of warriors who protected the African kingdom of the Home with skills and a fierceness unlike anything this world has ever seen. These women are what I will call dream drivers. They're confident, they're strong, and they're powerful. Overall, this is a movie that I can't wait to see. It's one of those movies that I think it's going to blow your mind, but also make you walk out that theater feeling like you got to conquer and achieve. So make sure to go see The Woman King, now playing exclusively in movie theaters. Tickets on sale now. Hey Dream Drivers, welcome to episode 234 of the Dreams and Drive podcast, and we are throwing it back to episode 149. This is a 2018 episode with Felicia Leatherwood, and we're going to be talking about how to believe in yourself and how to keep that dream and drive. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this today is because I feel like a lot of us may feel like we're stuck in park and we would do anything to get and stay and drive. But what if I told you that key to making that shift has nothing to do with external factors, but rather it has everything to do with you and your mindset? And on this episode, we're going to chat with Felicia all about this. And she's one of Hollywood's favorite natural hair hairstylists. Her work has been featured on stars such as Ava Duvernay, Issa Rae, Will Smith, Jill Scott, Terrence Howard, Anthony Anderson, Coles Kimberly Elise, and more. And Felicia takes us through the early days of her career, from transitioning from corporate to entrepreneurship and building her stylist repertoire. She talks about how she got the courage to jump and go after her desire to be successful and to see where her talents and hard work could take her. So if you're currently finding it hard to believe in your dream and you need some insight and motivation or encouragement or how to keep going, although you aren't sure how things will turn out for you, this episode is for you and you're going to have to listen to the end. I'm telling you guys, this is not an episode that you want to just cut short. So as you're listening, if you feel compelled, as you're listening, if you feel compelled, please share this with your community. We really do appreciate it. You can find us across the board, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We are at Dreams and Drive. So post it to your Instagram stories. Make a Facebook post about it. Share it on LinkedIn. I'm telling you, it's that good. And Felicia's words still ring true over 4 years later. And there's so much that she has gone on to do from this episode, but I'm telling you, like, it doesn't even matter. It's the message here that's going to take it all home. All right. So I appreciate you all. Let's get into this episode and let's hear from Miss Felicia herself.
I'm excited to be here with you, Raina.
I've been a fan of your work for a while now, and so it's just always so fun when I get to have guests on the show that I've admired and can, get to pick your brain and ask you all the questions I've been wanting to.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I'm honored.
So I like to start our interviews going back in time. If I had to say, if I want you to think about your childhood, what's one of your most memorable childhood memories?
Well, as it relates to just life, I feel like the most memorable childhood is my dad. He likes to walk everywhere.
Okay.
So he would actually we live kind of far from Beverly Hills, but on Sundays after church, we would take these family walks and we would go all the way to Rodale Drive and window shop and walk back home. Those were the building blocks to showing me how to dream and do more of what I call creative visualization, which is we would walk and look through the windows and see how the rich people lived. And my dad would kind of encourage us to believe that we could have that too. And those were special for me. But I gotta say my least favorite memorable was getting my hair done because I had super dry hair, and we didn't have all these great products we have now. So it hurt for me to get my hair done. And my mom would just not touch it. My dad and my grandma were the ones that would actually do my hair, and it was torture.
Wait, my dad used to do my hair too. That is so crazy. You know, when you think about Black families, you don't think about the dad as the one who used to do our hair. But my dad had the tightest, like he would put our bobos in so tight. You could see our eyeballs and our hair follicles. Like, it was crazy.
That's so funny. And like, yeah, that's exactly, it would be, I don't think they realized their own strength as it related to our sensitive little heads.
I know. And my dad used to put my beads on too when I used to get my hair braided. So it's funny you bring that memory up. How long were those walks? Like, I don't really know how, I don't know Cali like that. So let us know.
I know. Okay. So it's like walking about 8 New York long blocks, probably about a good 7 mile walk. Walking.
Oh, wait, that's more than eight New York City blocks.
Okay, then I have no idea.
Wait, 8 miles on a Sunday?
Yeah, when I'm in New York walking, I feel like I've walked at least a good 5 or 6 blocks, 5 or 6 miles. But yeah, they would take, and my dad's tall, so like it would take us a little while to get there, but we would walk it. My brother would be in a stroller, and it was pretty far. It's pretty far.
Wow. You guys must have been like really fit kids, like strong legs at least.
To look at me now, you'd never know it.
Stop it. So, what was the dream back then? Because you didn't like getting your hair done. I know you probably weren't thinking about one day making a career off of hair.
Well, that's really how it came about, is because of the torturous feeling I had getting my hair done. My mom, she spent a lot of time sick in the hospital when I was younger. I really kind of had to fend for my own. We were like latchkey kids at the time. So our parents worked, or my dad would work, and sometimes my mom would be sick. And so I basically learned young about washing dishes, cleaning the house, doing my homework, taking care of everything, and taking your bath or your shower and going to bed to prep for school the next day. With all that responsibility, my mom felt like it was okay for me to do my own hair. She saw me play with Barbie dolls and do hair on my Barbies. So I went to her when I was about 8 or 9, and I was like, Mom, can I please do my own hair? And she said, yeah, here, have at it.
So were you good?
I didn't do bad on the Barbies. The Barbies had,
they had that straight hair.
Yeah, that was the only thing that messed me up. I never understood why that Barbie doll did not have my texture of hair. It was so confusing. But I did realize that once you cut off Barbie's hair, she was no good to you. I would do so many hairstyles until I decided to cut her hair off. And then after that, she wasn't the same. She wasn't the same.
So going with that whole visualization theme, were you at a young age, did you see yourself as one day being this big celebrity hairstylist?
No, not at all, which is really crazy because I worked in corporate America for a long time. And working in corporate America, I worked in the entertainment industry, but it was on the corporate side of things.
Okay.
Being on the corporate side, I would leave work and go home and braid hair. I started as a braider. Extensions
or just natural hair?
Extensions, yeah, because I taught myself how to braid when I was like 12 years old. And so with extensions. So I would basically just braid everybody in the neighborhood's hair. And then as I worked in corporate America, it was like almost like a side hustle, but I didn't look at it as a hustle. It was a hobby. So I used to work at BET. I worked at BET from the age of 19 till like I was 24. And then I worked at Virgin Records. I worked at Fox, Warner Brothers. I worked for the Cartoon Network. And all of these were office jobs. So they didn't even know that I knew how to do hair. They didn't know anything about me doing hair. I had one boss that I went to and I told him, I want to go to cosmetology school. And the classes are at night, but they start at 5:00 and I don't get off to 6. Is there any way I could come in earlier so I could leave and go to cosmetology school? And he was like, you know what? Sure. And I was really shocked. I mean, it was so nice of him to allow me to do that. And then I went to school at night for a little while. But I found that the school I had enrolled in was very unorganized. And I didn't want to see business being ran like that I was paying money to.
Yeah.
So I left there and I decided to go full on, like to just leave my job, take a chance that I could make it off of just braiding hair and completely go to cosmetology school to get my license.
So let's back up a little bit. When you were working those corporate jobs, like what type of roles were they and what were the skills that you were learning during this time in your life?
You know what it built? It built character in me. Mm-hmm. I became strong. I can't say that I necessarily learned a particular skill because a lot of the things I learned are obsolete now due to technology being advanced. But in terms of character building, it was excellent. What I had to deal with as a Black woman and as a woman, period, young and curvaceous, I had to deal with a lot of sexual harassment. And I remember getting hired a lot by men because of my body type, my body shape, and the look I had. But I didn't realize that it was only because of the look that I got hired. I had no real skill set in the beginning. I was actually a lousy secretary, assistant, but I got hired because of the way my body was shaped. During that time, and maybe even still today, men wanted women to sit either at the front desk or in the meetings or be a secretary because it made them look good. I didn't realize that until later. And then all the sexual harassment showed up as I was working. And I had one boss tell me, he said, I ran to him and I said, look, this guy made this advance towards me. And he told me this thing. And he said I could move up in the company if I slept with him. And I just feel disrespected. And I don't know. And I was 19. And he said to me, you're going to get that a lot. He said, but it's what you do with it that matters. It's if you decide to take the advance or not, that makes you who you become as a woman. So how do you want to look at yourself, like in the mirror? When you wake up in the morning, do you want to see yourself as a respectable woman? Or do you want to see yourself as a woman who slept around to get to the top? And I never forget he said that. I thought he was going to go after the guy and tell the guy, shame on you. But
this was your boss, you said?
Yeah, this was one of my first bosses, government job bosses. And he was like, you're going to get that. So you have to choose what you're going to do with it. And I was kind of disappointed at first because I thought he was going to protect me. But he really did empower me because it kept me in a state of, I was around a lot of celebrities at that time. And I just basically kept respecting myself, which made the men respect me. The advances that would come, I would ignore them. I would act like it was nothing. I had men doing a lot of stuff to get my attention that were very inappropriate. And the more I treated them as if they had nothing to offer, the more they felt ashamed. So I became more powerful and confident in saying, no, I don't need that. I don't need the job to be advanced because you want me to sleep with you. I don't need that. So I remember those early years of my life, working in corporate America and my character being built more so than my actual talents with, shipping and receiving and paperwork and setting up schedules and stuff. I felt like I had learned more life lessons.
And those life lessons are the things that, if you think about it, because as you said, technology can become outdated, right? But it's those those skills, those soft skills, those character building skills that really do have an impact. And I just think that's something that a lot of us women talk about. I know I was talking about in an early episode with Sarah Kuntz. She's a VC out there in California. She basically was, I told her about how in the entertainment industry, I had this guy who tried to prey on me. I was just out of Princeton, right? I just graduated from college. And he was like, I could put you on, right? And I was so naive, Felicia. I was like, really? You want to help me? Like, I really thought he meant that. And then it turned out he was trying to sleep with me. I said I had a boyfriend. He said he could be my side man. I was just like, wow. And this is a married man, right? And the thing I always told myself is I don't ever want to be screenshot, right?
Yeah.
Because he was saying some outrageous things, right? I never want to be screenshot. And I never want him to have anything that he could ever truthfully say about me to anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And now we have this age where like all of this stuff is coming out. It's so crazy, it's the exposure, what's done in the dark comes to the light is really happening now all over the place, which I'm glad for, but I also feel like we go so hard about things that they get convoluted and become a joke or entertainment, and that's not okay.
What do you mean?
It's like now I see comedians making jokes about like Harvey Weinstein and all these men getting busted, but it's not funny. It's serious. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that like people who joke about it, they must not have been through sexual harassment because it's not really anything to joke about. It's very, it really messes with your confidence, your self-esteem. It can mentally break you down, especially when your job is on the line. So there's a lot that is associated with that behavior that I don't think people are actually talking about or looking at as when they're making these jokes. But I'm glad and grateful that my boss empowered me by being straightforward and saying that to me. Like, he told me that. And after that, I never dealt with it again. Like, guys still came on to me, but my attitude and the way I addressed them and the professionalism that I kept about myself made all the difference.
So taking that, you had this important character building lesson early on in your career. You went to cosmetology school, and then you decided to take a chance on yourself. What was your whole thought process like when you said, hey, I'm going to see what I could do on my own?
I was scared. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, it was scary. I think when I look back on my life, and even to this day, there is this voice. I don't know if it's the voice of my ancestors. I don't know if it's, God, the Holy Spirit guide. I don't know what it is, but there's a voice that always shows up that tells me I can do it. And I feel like all of us have that voice, but I listen to that voice so strongly because I've learned how to trust it. Even though I was scared, I also felt some kind of comfort in being enterprising and taking a chance that I could make my own dreams come true, by just simply following them, if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
So I felt like I'm nervous. I don't know what's going to happen, but I got to leave this job. And every time I trusted, God provided the extra steps I needed to see it through. I think when you look at the word trust and you honestly break it down, there's so many levels to it. And the level that I choose for the word trust in my life is to believe and to go forth and to know that it's all going to be okay. Whether it works out or not, you're learning something great and something valuable that you can take with you for the rest of your life. So trust was the main thing that came up. But yeah, I was scared. But I just trusted. And every time somebody showed up to help me along, somebody showed up to say, you can do it. Someone showed up to say, hey, I know somebody that can hook you up with the person that you need to be connected with. It was always someone that showed up to make it even better than where I was. It just took it to the next level.
But like, how did you go about getting your first clients? Because I imagine, what time period was this? Like, what part? Was this when natural hair was cool, or were people still a little bit hesitant?
So this is what I did. I'm telling you right now. I love these interviews because it really makes me reflect on things I've forgotten. Mm-hmm. I was a very insecure young girl. I never felt pretty enough, or during that time, you needed to be light skinned with this kind of curly, fine hair or wavy hair or straight hair. I didn't have any of that. I had shrinkage, and I had tight, coily hair that was dry, and my skin was, at that time, kids would compare me to a paper bag.
Oh my gosh.
Somehow I've become light skinned as I've gotten older. People are like, you're light skinned, and now I'm offended. But kid, they would be calling me all kind of other stuff. I feel like something in me had the confidence to really believe that natural hair was my thing. I wanted to do it. I started on myself. I was my own walking billboard. So I did all these like hairstyles for myself, and I would leave and go out and hang out with friends, and people would ask me about my hair. And that's how I got started, is by telling people I did it. I did it on myself. And they go, oh, well, do you do other people's? And I was like, well, I guess I can try. Yeah, why not? And I didn't have the confidence to charge what I charge now because I was young, and you don't know how good you are. You don't have to grow the money. And sometimes as you grow older, you don't really know what to charge. So at that time, I would just charge like $50 for like 5-hour braids, $50 for like during, we used to do the faux lock, and I would charge $50, and they take like 12 hours to do. I did it for the love, and I did it out of the necessity to express my creativity. And I basically became my own advertisement by doing all the hairstyles on myself.
So when did you get to that point where you felt more confident, you were bringing in clients, and you started increasing your prices?
When I went to cosmetology school, and they take you through being an entrepreneur. And then I took an entrepreneurial class. The NAACP actually used to offer these workshops that were great. And it would be for 6 to 8 weeks. And you would learn how to be an entrepreneur. So when I took those classes, and they break down what you should charge and what your worth is and your value and all the different levels of opportunity you can have as an entrepreneur, that's when I learned. That's when I became better at pricing. And even now, my prices are still inexpensive. People are always shocked when they're, able to get a trim, and they're like, oh my God, this is all you charge. And I tell them I charge what I would want to pay. I don't charge for my name. I charge for the service that I would want to pay for.
Do you charge everyone the same price, or do you charge your celebrity clients the same?
If you're coming to me and it's a personal hairstyle, personal to you, then yeah, I do. I charge, my prices are very good. But now lately, I haven't been able to I don't have the time that I used to have to work behind the chair in the salon anymore. I'm on set. I'm doing a lot more personal styling for celebrities. And so it keeps me out of the salon. So I've had to shut down my, everyday clientele because it became too much work for me. And then I've started a couple of businesses, as you know. I've got my brush business. I started Texture Management, which is basically a placement management company for hairstylists and makeup artists here in Los Angeles, and some on the East Coast as well.
Dream Drivers, life is sweet and made even sweeter when spent with the ones you love. Savor the moment, big or small, with a delicious bottled Starbucks Frappuccino drink, or for a new favorite sip whenever you get thirsty along that dream driving journey. Check out the full Starbucks ready-to-drink coffee lineup online or wherever you buy groceries. Because with Starbucks coffee, you're always ready for the right now. Dream Drivers, what's up? It's summer, and I know we all are on the quest for the perfect beverage to quench our desire for refreshing. So here's the question. What have you always wanted to try? Is there something that has been a dream of yours, a flavor, a taste that you just really need to get at? Gold Peak Real Brewed is here to unleash your thirst for trying. Real Brewed tea, Real cane sugar, real delicious. From sweet tea, unsweetened tea, green tea, California raspberry tea, Georgia peach tea, lemon tea, lemonade tea. There are so many options to find what's best for you. And this summer, we need to try something new, try something brewed, because nobody wants to be dream driving with a dry mouth or thirsty. We need that fuel to be at our best for this ride. So take this as your sign to say yes, opt in, go for it. Because trying is what life is all about. Try Gold Peak.
So I definitely want to get to that because I'm so intrigued, especially by the management, the texture management. But let's go to, so I know people definitely want me to ask you this, is how did you get your first celebrity client? Because you've been known for doing the hair of a lot of people that we all know and love. Ava Duvernay, Issa Rae. Like, how did you get known or get into the world of celebrity hairstyling?
I did not plan on doing that. I didn't think anything about doing celebrity hair. I just knew I wanted to do natural hair and that I was good at it. It was a joy for me. But when I was a braider, I had a lot of people that were up and coming at that time come to me. So Regina King, that was doing Boys in the Hood days. Like, everybody was trying on the come up, here in LA. So people hadn't quite made it to the status that you know them as right now. We all kind of started together doing things. And I saw Regina King recently, and she was like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Like, I remember back in the day, you braided hair in your apartment, your little apartment.
Hustling, right?
And she's like, well, we were all just trying to come up. To be honest, when I worked at BET, there were a lot of comedians that are bigger now that were coming up then. There are a lot of actors that are big now that at that time were just kind of getting, their feet wet. I left BET. I went to a couple other jobs, and I ended up in a salon. And this salon was catered to celebrity, men and women, because there were barbers there and there were regular hairstylists. And I was there only doing natural hair. So Cedric the Entertainer came in there, and I remember when he was coming into BET on Comic View, and he saw me, and he was like, "Oh my God, this is where you are now. I didn't know. Hey, I want to get into these twists." And a lot of people don't remember, but back in like 2000, the natural hair community, it was quiet in the 90s. It was quiet, but 2000 was the emergence of it because men playing ball and acting, they started wearing the Iverson cornrow.
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
They started wearing the twist and double strand twist, and men were really doing it a lot. And so then women decided, oh, I want to start getting designs of my hair and all this stuff. And then Jill Scott showed up on the scene with a beautiful afro. So then a lot of people were like wondering, like, okay, I want that too. So that's how I really became a little bit bigger, or I should say a lot bigger than just kind of doing hair at home and being a braider. Was working in that salon, doing Cedric's hair. Cedric told Anthony Anderson about me. I worked with him for years. Still good friends with him, and he and his family, his wife. I ended up doing Will Smith had cornrows at one point.
I gotta Google that. I don't remember him in cornrows.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. I cannot find that picture. I had braided his hair. It was right before he did the Ali movie. After he did Bagger Vance. You remember Bagger Vance?
No, I'm Googling it now, but I only see pictures of his son Jaden with cornrows. I can't find that in him. Okay.
I tried to find it. It is lost in the ethosphere somewhere. And I started working with Jill Scott. Found me at the salon. I worked with Floor Tree, Marsha Ambrosia, and people just started locating me. They had a place to find me, and that was the salon. I was the only person doing natural hair at that time, and that's when everybody started kind of getting into it.
So beyond just being a good hairstylist, what do you think made your customers come back or refer you out? Because that's something that a lot of us, listening in, they may be starting out in whatever niche or industry they're in. Like, what was that thing you think you were doing that looking back, you're like, damn, like, it's a good thing I did that?
I'm going to tell you and the listeners, one of the best pieces of advice I ever got, and it made me reflect on my whole life. I used to do a lady's hair. She was an older woman, very wealthy, and she made her money in real estate and different small ventures. And she said, there's two things you need to have as a business entrepreneur to be successful. She said, one, you want to have a product that sells when you are asleep, sells when you are awake, sells when you are vacationing, doing whatever. You need to create something that will constantly be on the market selling. And then there's something that basically you provide to people that is unexplainable. They can't explain what it is, but they know they can only get it from you. You know, I was listening to her and I said, okay. She goes, and do you know what that is? I said, no, what is it? She goes, it's you. The essence of who you are is what people can only get from you. So however you set up yourself as a businesswoman, professionally, your attitude, your consistent emotional state of being, when you greet the client, your smile, you know, the feeling that you present in that space that you're in with the client at that time, that is all things that only you can provide for them. I never forgot that. And so I feel like the success I've had is because I really do like people. I love interacting with people. I love making people laugh and sharing different conversations and learning and understanding who we are as human beings and spiritual beings. And so I feel like that has added so much value to my business. It's just being accommodating, professional, available, and always looking to up my game as a hairstylist, learn more. You never stop, learning. You never get so good that you don't need to know anything else. And so I'm constantly trying to improve on my skill set and my professionalism.
So let's talk about your detangling brush, because you said that the woman told you need to have a product. You know, that passive income is so important. What made you want to launch a product, and like, what were the biggest challenges that you faced? Because I know that must have not been like a walk in the park, right?
Girl.
Because I'm even like, I just launched an e-commerce website for my, I'm launching one for my just merchandise for the podcast, and that's been a mess. And it's only shirts, right? So I can only imagine something you have to manufacture and get models and samples. It just seems like a lot.
Listen, I'm going to go off a little bit.
Okay.
Because I think that people, and there are certain people who will pretty much understand what I'm about to say, and then there's some other people, it might take a minute, but it doesn't matter. Because once I say it, the seed is planted. Anything we do in life is possible. People are not living and using their full power that has been given to them before they even entered the body. There is a birthright power that you get, and it is the power to make things happen in your life. What I've done, the reason why you and I are even having this conversation is because I sat with myself and said, this is what I want, this is what I will have, and this is going to happen. And I stood firm on that belief. I did not waver. I knew it was going to happen. Even when things looked like they weren't going to happen, something in me would always say, hang in there. Because sometimes it'll be that last final hour you think you won't get the thing you want, that it'll come through. So with the brushes, I basically took, and a lot of business people I've had a lot of people conversate with me about where to start. What you can do, if you can either invent something that doesn't exist, or you can take something that was once really good that people have forgotten about and improve it. And that's what I did with the brushes. The brush was originally a pet brush for horses' mane, and I started working with that brush, and I found out that it was detangling well, but for natural hair, it broke. It was not sturdy.
Wait, how did you even why were you in like a pet store with a pet brush? How did that even get into your tools?
I always go around everywhere and look around. So I was in the store, And I had already prayed before I even went. Like, God, I want to have something that bears my name, that I can leave, that's good, it works, and people love it. Show me what that could be. I'm in the store in a beauty supply, and I see these little bitty brushes for a couple of dollars. And I'm looking at those, and something says, take that home with you and start using it. And then I went online and I pulled up the brush and I saw that it was a horse's mane brush, right? Mm-hmm. So I ordered some. I ordered different types. I wanted to see like what they did. Why was it good for the horse's mane? Because, we were using what's that, mane and tail on our hair back in the day. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. It was like a purple or blue and white bottle or something like that.
And everybody swore by it. And they said it made their hair grow. And it was all this stuff. It was just, everybody loved it. So I brought the brush home. I started working with the brush. I said, this brush is great, but it would break. And then I was looking at how it was made. It wasn't made sturdy. It had a lot of flaws in it. But I started off selling that brush, getting it wholesale and retailing it because it did work so good for our hair. Then I said, you know what? I think I can make this better. So I took it to an attorney. Sometimes you got to spend money. Everybody needs an attorney. Every time you do business and your business grows to a certain extent, you need a couple of people on your team. And one of those people is a good attorney. And they will give you free advice at first, and then they'll let you know how much things cost and you can make payments. People get very nervous when they hear the words accountant and attorney and bookkeeper. But I'm here to let you know there's so many ways that you can do it where it won't cost you anything. I work with a lot of clients. Some of them have been attorneys. And as I was doing their hair, I started talking to them. I found an amazing guy who does trademarking, and he led me to a patent attorney. And I said, is there a patent on this brush? Can I do this and make it better? And he was like, yeah, you can totally do this brush and make it better. And that's what I did. I had an illustrator draw up, like I kind of like know how to draw. So I did my own little thing, and then I sent it to the illustrator and had her improve it. I took it from that to the attorney said, is this acceptable in the eyes of the law, in the business world? And he was like, this is great. From there, I held it because I didn't have any more money. I held on to it and said, okay, God, I really want to make this be something that everybody can use because it's such a great tool. I want to produce it. I want my name on it. And I just need to know where to go from here. And all these people showed up. Right? All these people showed up.
The manufacturer.
The manufacturer showed up because the manufacturer, they hit me to use my name to do a product line. But they had never done a product line. They were a brush company. You hear what I said? They were trying to get into products. And at the time, the manager I had then, I don't have her any longer. I have an amazing manager now who knows a lot more about contracts. But at the time, the manager I had didn't really know a lot. And I didn't know a lot. She said to them, have you guys ever done hair products before? And they were like, no, we figured, doing Felicia would be our first go at it, be good. She said, well, it might be better for you to start with this brush. Felicia has a brush idea she wants to do. She has a drawing, an illustration that details how she wants it to look and the type of material she wants to use. And they kind of were like, all right, well, whatever. Cool. Well, we have brushes. We'll send her some of our samples and see if she wants to pick one of those and put her name on it. All the brushes they sent me were whack. None of them worked. They would have ripped out all kind of natural hair. I was like, no, that's not it. I want to do this. This is what I have to do. So they're like, okay, well, we'll do it. But how about we do it and we give you royalties? We'll manufacture it. We'll put it together. We'll send it out for you, ship it. But why don't we give you royalties? I didn't know anything at the time. So I said, sure. She read the contract, thought it was a great deal. Turns out later, 2-3 years later that it was the worst thing. And I won't say actually, I take that back. It wasn't the worst thing because I was able to get my brush out there and my name. But it became a situation where I got duped a little bit. So some of the money that they said came in was actually not correct. They actually made way more money off the brush and off my name than they presented. That led me to getting a real attorney. I had new management, and we went in and renegotiated the deal. And I ended up getting all of my brushes, and I own 100% of my brush business.
All right, I got 3 words for you. The Woman King. Have y'all seen the trailer? If you have not, make sure you pause this right now, go watch the trailer, and come back and hear me talk about it. Number 1, the trailer is going to blow your mind. I'm so excited to see my girl Viola Davis starring as an African general, right, in this epic story, which is inspired by true events. And here's the thing. It's telling the story of the first ever army of women warriors in a fight to save their kingdom. The Agoge are all-female unit of warriors who protected the African kingdom of Dahomey with skills and a fierceness unlike anything you've ever seen, right? They're confident, they're strong, they're powerful. And listen, they're holding their own up against these men. And that's what I love most about this movie. It's really about representation and seeing women in powerful positions on screen, and to know that this is a real story. The term Woman King itself is a reference to the king's female reigning mate. The position was one of the most esteemed ranks in the kingdom of Dahomey, which also enjoyed gender parity across all of the most important positions, from military generals to financial advisors and religious leaders. It was truly a unique social structure for the time, and one that we don't really even see now. So just to see these black women on screen kicking ass, ruling in powerful positions is something that I think we all need to go out there and just really enjoy. And also just to see a story about female empowerment and leadership. That's always going to be special to me. Overall, this is a movie and a story that needs to be told and seen. And seeing it on the big screen will blow your mind and also just make you feel like you can go out and conquer and achieve. And when we watch movies that represent us, that show us in these esteemed positions and in the esteemed roles, it fills something within your own cup. So dream drivers, make sure that you guys go out and see and support The Woman King. It's now playing exclusively in movie theaters. Tickets on sale now.
That's something we all can learn from, right? Because sometimes we see opportunities and we're so excited, right? We're thinking about, wow, this could make me, right? This could take me to the next level, but not doing that due diligence, or sometimes not even knowing that you should maybe get a second opinion or maybe rethink it, right? That is such a great lesson for all of us, Felicia. Thank you so much for sharing it, because I know there's a lot of different type of entrepreneurs listening in that have to deal with contracts, and you think you understand legal language, but you do not. If you're not a lawyer, don't try to interpret contracts, and don't try to pretend you know everything about you can't read in between the lines if you don't know what you're reading, right?
Yep.
That is so true. So then what made you want to start texture management, and how is that business model playing into your overall brand?
It was born out of the fact that I was getting a lot of phone calls to do a lot of people in Hollywood's natural hair. There's not a lot of us around that do natural hair or specializes in it, but there are some good hairstylists out there. There really are. What happened was I was getting an abundance of calls. I couldn't do everybody. I started contacting colleagues to send them out for work. They would then kick me back like a certain percentage of the money they got, which I thought was nice. It was like a courtesy kickback. They did not have to do it, but I was grateful. And my friend said, you should turn this into an agency or a management company. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I even get started? So I started looking around, talking to different people to get advice. And they all told me, you're going to need help because you're really busy. I don't know. Like, nobody really told me to do it. They just was like, ooh, I don't know about that. It's rough. I had one.
I had to be dream killers.
Yeah, they were dream killing it. And it made me nervous. But at the same time, something kept pushing me forward to do it. So it's like I was nervous, but I was still pushing forward to do it. just like with hair, with everything. It's like there's this voice that keeps telling you to go, keep going, keep going. I basically got with a friend of mine and said, hey, would you like to even partner up with me and help me make this dream come true? Because I'm not the only talented hairstylist in Hollywood. There are other women that have trained under me, and I've watched their work, and I know that they're good, and they want to get out there in the field of entertainment. So I want to put them on. And that's how texture management was born, was really out of a passion for other people having the limelight and other people shining and their talents being pushed up front, and entertainers having somewhere to go and not feeling like there's only a few people that can do their hair.
Yeah, you definitely saw a need, and you leverage your current skill set, right? Because I think a lot of us sometimes, like, we're afraid to take risk because people say, oh, that's more work. You could have said, oh, I want to keep it all to myself, right? Oh, I'll find a way to do all these hundreds of thousands of clients coming in. But instead, you turn that into a revenue stream and also helping people.
Yeah.
That's so important. So, as we wind down, Felicia, and I feel like, oh my God, we could have been talking for so much longer, but I definitely want to get into, like, what's your day-to-day like now? You have a brush company, you run an agency, you're still doing your celebrity clients. Like, how do you manage your life?
I have a great team. It's so important to have a great team. And on that team, as I was saying earlier, you need a good manager. You need an excellent attorney, somebody that you can call and gives you contracts. Once you get the few contracts down, you can pretty much use them for a lot of your day-to-day business dealings. And you need a good assistant. You need somebody that has anonymity. They don't run out talking and gossiping and telling everybody what's going on in your workspace and in the infrastructure. I deal with a lot of people in the entertainment industry at A level. And so I can't have people around me that are going and saying every single thing that I do on a regular basis. So you definitely need a management that is great. You need a great executive assistant, and you need an attorney. And then if you have room, then get a good PR person or do your own PR, which means you're branding yourself. You're basically taking everything that you do to the next level. You do a EPK, which is electronic press kit. There are people out there willing to do this work for you, or you can go on Wix. I think it's Wix.com and do it yourself.
On Canva, they can have templates. Creative Market has a lot of good templates too.
All of that. Those are things that you have to have in order for people to see your work and you can showcase your talents. And it's very important to have that and to grow your business. And this is the last thing I want to say. Do not be afraid of criticism. The constructive criticism is going to be the best tool you can have, because what Black people need to stop doing is getting upset and getting an attitude when someone has something to say. We're not that sensitive. We're actually very strong. So if someone has advice to give, you can either take it or leave it, but you don't need to get an attitude. A lot of times when we get an attitude, when someone's correcting what we're doing, it's because we already feel that way and we haven't done it yet and somebody called us out. But be open and willing to improve your business on all levels.
So I think sometimes people think the highest thing you could ever be is to be a celebrity hairstylist, right? Like what's some insight about the industry that you would want to give to somebody who's trying to make their mark?
You need to take photos. And you get a good camera. If you have an iPhone, get the iPhone 10. I know it's expensive, but this is a business. Write it off. You know what I mean? Like, you need really good pictures. You don't need pictures,
work, right? Or of yourself.
Yeah, of your work. There's also, you can go online and look up the person you've done hair on. If you do have the opportunity to do somebody in industry and pull pictures from them, or you can go on their IG or Facebook. Sometimes when you get to the location and before you even start, you can say to the client, is it okay if when we're done, I can take a picture? They may say, oh, well, I'm not in makeup, I'm not dressed yet. Okay, no problem. If you can, wait until all that happens. If you can't, ask the makeup artist or the stylist if they could send you a picture of the finished look. The pictures are everything. We're in a movement of social media, which means that people don't read a lot anymore, but they definitely look at photos and videos. So if you can do that, it would make all the difference in what you're creating in your business.
That is so important, especially because hair is visual, right? So you can't expect to get clients by saying, hey, I know how to do braids, but your Instagram is all food pictures, right? It's like you have to get aligned, and you also just need to, what I tell people sometimes is look at what other like top, stylists are doing. Not saying copy everything, but take some notes about the patterns and the type of pictures and what people are engaging with and that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah.
So what are some resources that you would recommend to our dream drivers? I know you were talking about that earlier, some business resources that have definitely helped you grow your brand.
So there is a company called, I'll tell you right now, which is really great. It's called Bench, BENCH. And they're bookkeeping. It's bench.com. And they're a bookkeeping service. They don't charge a lot at all. So if you have a business and you want to see where your money's going in terms of supplies versus what comes in, Bench is excellent for bookkeeping. They also have an app so you can check in all the time to see what's going on with your business and your money. And they literally charge by the month or the year, and it's so inexpensive. The other service, like I was saying, was Wix. Wix. Wix is really great for if you want to create your own. There are people who create EPKs, which is electronic press kit. And there is, I think it's ifreelance.com. You can go on ifreelance.com or guru.com and you can talk to people. They'll be in other countries and they can design a website. You tell them your budget and it will design something for you. And we have to stop being afraid to spend a little money. You can always check people's references or reviews if you don't trust it. But a lot of times people will not trust before even doing the homework of checking in if the person's legit. And we have to stop being scared. The best way to combat the fear of success is to do it. Just do it. If it doesn't work, doesn't mean there's failure. It means you learn something and you go back in and you try again. Everybody has at least 5 to 10 people that are good resources for where they want to be and where they need to be. And we need to start writing that list down of resources and using that resource. If you go to 5 or 10 people and none of them are able to help you, don't create a story about Black people or people, period. Just pray, because you may not need all those people. There might be one person that will help you, and they might be somebody you don't even know. But just because you were doing the due diligence of looking for someone, the universe will provide you what you need. It just needs to see that you're willing to do the work. Does that make sense?
That makes so much sense. And sometimes that person might not even be in the place that you were looking, right? Like sometimes we might even be looking in the wrong places because we think that, if I want to be this, I got to be in this like fancy circle. Nope. Like, as you said, it could come from the most unexpected of places, but you have to be open and willing to accept it when it does.
And I'll tell you, books are a great resource. A lot of people tell me that they don't have time to read anymore. That's fine. Get an audiobook. Amazon has audiobooks all day. There's no excuse not to get it in you. And it's so good when you are around like-minded people that understand the vision and the dream, because people around you, if they're not doing it and they're working a 9 to 5, they may feel limited. So which means that they're not going to have your same vision of expanding. And you can't talk to them because if you're already nervous or scared or weary and you talk to someone who doesn't share your vision, they're going to just tilt you right on the side of the boat where you fall into the water and you won't stay the course. And so you have to stay with like-minded people. You have to get in groups, business groups. They're everywhere. You have to follow people on Instagram that are speaking positive, that are doing motivational talks to keep you motivated. Kids now are doing motivational talks on Instagram. Kids. So we don't have any more excuses. It's too close to us to get what we need everywhere. Get a book. The best book, there's a book called Outwitting the Devil, and you will find it on Amazon. And it basically deals with your fears, how to overcome the fears and recognize when that voice in your head is trying to make you afraid to go to the next level.
I think that's Napoleon Hill, the one who wrote Think and Grow Rich.
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Origin is Napoleon Hill, is the origin, yes.
Yes. Well, let us go to our lightning round, Felicia. So this part of our interview, I'm going to give you a prompt, and I want you to tell me the first word that comes to mind, okay? And we're sticking with our whole dreams and drive metaphor. All right, the first word is park.
Wait.
Reverse.
Check out what you just did.
Neutral.
Patience.
And last but not least, drive.
Go forth.
Ooh, I like that. And if you want to be a dream driver, you have to have your keys to success. So tell me 3 things that you think every dream driver needs in their toolkit before they hit the road.
Ooh, they have to have confidence, believe in themselves. I call it being on your Kanye, because everybody crazy, but he believed in himself. He does what he does.
Right.
You want to have a good support team, even if it's just one person. Maybe your best friend, your grandma, whoever it is, just that one person. When you go to them, if you say, I want to walk a tightrope, they go, baby, you can do it. I believe you. That's what you need. That one person. Because when you start feeling weak or weary or concerned or nervous, you can call them and they're going to uplift you and keep you going. That's what you need. But one thing I will tell you, this is right here, the nugget of all things. This right here is what brings it all together. There is a door that you must open. And once you unlock this door and you open it, you can never unknow what you know. I'm going to repeat that. There is a door. Once you walk through that door and you see what you see, you won't ever, ever forget it and you won't unknow it. It's called the window of opportunity. It doesn't necessarily close because it opens all the time. But you got to jump through it. And once you get to the other side and you see the power you actually have to create whatever you want in your life, you can never unknow that. And you will become more powerful and you will just keep rising to the top. It is the truth.
How do you get to that? Or is it something, is that a journey? That's part of the journey, right? Is getting to that point where you find the door?
That's part of the journey. There's easy ways to go about it. I think we tend to make it hard. You can watch a video. I can tell you what that video is, but you need to watch it every day for 30 days. And then after that, just pray and meditate and it'll show up. And that video is The Secret. You ever heard of that?
I heard that's the book, right? That was a book like a...
It was a book. It's a video and you can find it on Netflix. It's everywhere. You can get it on YouTube. It's free.
Okay, The Secret.
Watch The Secret. Over and over and over and over again. The reason why is because there's something innately in all of us that we've forgotten because we're here, and everything that we've become is based on other people's belief systems, their own fears, their truths, their lies, however they were raised. But you don't really know who you are without those people telling you what's right and wrong. So you have in you a gauge that lets you know what's honest and fair and true. You can feel it. You can feel when you're not doing the right thing and when you're gossiping and talking bad about people. You can feel it. There's compassion within all of us. But there is a belief system where people tell you that, that might not work. What if it don't happen? How you going to leave your job and go do that? You can't listen to that. All of that is based on other people's fears. And who would you be without those fears? Who would you be? So you have to ask yourself that question. When you go listen and watch The Secret, you keep getting it into you. We've all been brainwashed to a certain degree. So you have to deprogram yourself. You have to fill yourself with positivity and love. And that's what's going to make the difference in your life and change you. And once you know that, you can never unknow it. So I'm telling you, watch The Secret. Go 30 days strong. People do all kind of regimens and diet things, and they do 30 days of cleansing and fasting. What about 30 days of positivity? 30 days of not watching the news and just feeding yourself with goodness and saying you're great and you can do all things through God. What about that? And that's what we need. 30 days of it without fail. It will change your life. I promise you this.
That might be a good challenge. Maybe I could like set up something when this episode goes live, is like challenging everyone to watch that 30 days. Watch it for 30 days. I really like that, Felicia. I'm going to check it out once this is done. So I haven't actually watched the video myself. Well, thank you so much, Felicia. Can you tell our dream drivers where they can find you online if they want to check out your work, learn more about you?
I'm all over the place. You can Google FeliciaLeatherwood.com and find me. You can find me on Instagram under Loving Your Hair, because that's what I do. I love everybody's hair. You can look up Brush with the Best, which is the detangler brush. How many Black-owned brush companies do you know? Come on, people. I'm here. Let's do it. I'm all over the place. I'm on Facebook, but I'm mostly right where you need me to be.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Felicia.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
All right, so that's the wrap for this episode of Dreams and Drive. I hope you enjoyed our guest dream driving journey as well as listening to their keys to success. If you love this episode, you know what to do. Please make sure that you are following us. We are at Dreams and Drive across social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So make sure you're sharing this episode, posting it to your Instagram stories, texting it to a friend, sharing on LinkedIn, wherever you are or online. Just pay this forward and share this with somebody. We really appreciate it. And all the sharing that you do helps us grow our community. If you want to join our email newsletter, The Keys, and get weekly updates delivered to your inbox, just go to dreamsanddrive.com/join. That's dreamsanddrive.com/join. And lastly, if you know somebody who would be great for this show, or if you are someone who would be great for this show, please go to dreamsanddrive.com/pitch. I'm always accepting new guests. I'm always accepting new pitches. So I love to see those pitch requests coming in. Keep dreaming, keep driving, and we'll chat again in the next episode. Bye, guys.